Welcome to Little English Studio, the channel where history, culture, and the wonders of our world come to life, told in clear and simple English. Today we travel to the shores of the Caribbean Sea, where turquoise waves crash against ancient stone walls, and history whispers through the wind. This is Tulum, the last great city of the Maya, a fortress by the sea, a symbol of mystery and beauty, and one of Mexico's most breathtaking archaeological treasures. Let's explore its story, from sacred temples and trade routes to the fall of a civilization and the rebirth of a wonder. Tulum sits on the eastern coast of Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, overlooking the turquoise waters of the Caribbean Sea. Today, it's one of the most visited archaeological sites in the world, but nearly 1,000 years ago, it was a thriving Mayan city, full of traders, priests, and sailors. Unlike most Mayan cities that rose deep in the jungle, such as Palenque or Tikal, Tulum stood proudly on a cliff by the sea. The name Tulum itself means wall or fence in the Mayan language, referring to the great stone walls that surrounded the site. But long before it was called Tulum, the city was known as Zamar, meaning City of Dawn. Facing east, it was one of the first places in the Mayan world to see the sunrise each morning. Imagine standing on the cliffs of Tulum as the first rays of sunlight touch the ancient stones. It's no wonder the Maya considered this place sacred. Tulum's origins trace back to around AD 564, but it reached its peak between 1200 and 1450 AD, during the late post-classic period, the final centuries of the Mayan civilization. By that time, many great cities like Chichen Itza and Uxmal had already declined, but Tulum rose as a powerful coastal center. Its success came from one thing: trade. Tulum was perfectly located. It sat at the intersection of land and sea trade routes, connecting central Mexico with Central America. Canoes would sail along the coast carrying salt, obsidian, jade, turquoise, feathers, cacao beans, and other valuable goods. On land, traders brought materials from the highlands and jungles, exchanging them for seashells, cotton, and precious stones. Because of its wealth, Tulum became not just a port but a fortified city. Its high walls and strategic location made it nearly impossible to invade. Inside the walls, the city flourished with temples, palaces, markets, and homes. Outside, the jungle stretched endlessly, while the sea provided food and connection to the wider world. One of the first things you notice in Tulum is its massive defensive wall. The wall stretches over 784 meters, 2,572 feet, and is up to 7 meters, 23 feet, thick in some places. It surrounds 3 sides of the city. The fourth side, of course, is protected by the Caribbean Sea. This wall wasn't just for defense. It symbolized social and spiritual boundaries, separating the sacred inner city, where the elite and priests lived, from the outer areas inhabited by common people. Inside the walls, Tulum was organized around religious and ceremonial buildings, most notably the Temple of the Frescoes, the Temple of the Descending God, and the El Castillo, the castle, which dominates the cliff. Archaeologists believe the walls also served to control trade, allowing rulers to monitor who entered and what goods passed through the city. Tulum wasn't just a fortress, it was a spiritual and economic capital of the coast. The most famous and iconic structure in Tulum is El Castillo, or the castle. It rises dramatically on a 12-meter cliff, facing the sea, and served as both a temple and a lighthouse. Yes, a lighthouse. The Maya were skilled astronomers and navigators. At night, fires were lit atop the temple, and sailors used the light to guide their canoes safely through the reefs and into the harbor below. The building itself has several tiers and stairways, with a small temple at the top dedicated to Kukulkan, the feathered serpent god, a powerful deity associated with wind, water, and creation. When you stand at the base of El Castillo today with the Caribbean wind in your hair, it's easy to imagine ancient priests performing rituals, or sailors watching from the waves as the fires burned atop the temple. El Castillo was more than a building. It was a beacon of faith, navigation, and protection. Just south of El Castillo stands the Temple of the Frescoes, one of the most beautiful and mysterious structures in Tulum. Its walls are decorated with murals, rare surviving examples of Mayan art and religion. The paintings depict gods, spirits, and the natural world, the sun, rain, and fertility which were vital to Mayan life. Inside the temple, archaeologists found figures of the descending god, a mysterious deity shown diving headfirst from the sky, sometimes holding a torch. This god appears throughout Tulum, especially above doorways. His meaning is still debated. Some believe he represents Venus, the morning star. Others think he symbolizes rain or fertility. What's certain is that the descending god was deeply important to the people of Tulum, a sign of divine connection between the heavens and the earth. Life inside Tulum was lively and diverse. Merchants, fishermen, and priests lived side by side within the walls. Markets sold salt, honey, cotton, textiles, ceramics, and cacao, which was used as money and also for sacred drinks. Temples echoed with chants and incense, while festivals honored the gods of rain, sun, and maize. At sunrise, people gathered to pray to the east, to the first light of the morning, believed to bring life and renewal. Because of its location, Tulum was also a cosmopolitan port, visited by traders from as far as Honduras and the Yucatan interior. The city's architecture shows influences from other Mayan regions and even central Mexican cultures like the Toltecs. In many ways, Tulum was a bridge between land and sea, old traditions and new influences, the sacred and the practical. For centuries, Tulum stood strong, one of the last shining cities of the Maya world. But around the 16th century, change was coming. The Spanish arrived in the Caribbean, bringing new weapons, diseases, and religions. When the Spanish conquistadors first saw Tulum in 1518, they were amazed. One wrote that it was as large and impressive as the cities of Spain itself. However, by the time they returned decades later, Tulum had been abandoned. Historians believe that European diseases like smallpox devastated the population. Trade routes collapsed, and the spiritual heart of the city faded away. The jungle began to reclaim the temples, and the sea winds wore away the colors of the frescoes. For hundreds of years, Tulum slept, forgotten by the world. In the early 19th century, explorers like John Lloyd Stephens and Frederick Catherwood rediscovered Tulum. Their detailed sketches and writings revealed the beauty of the ruins to the Western world, sparking a wave of fascination with the Maya. Today, Tulum is one of the best preserved coastal Mayan sites, attracting millions of visitors each year. Tourists come not only for its history, but also for its breathtaking views of the Caribbean Sea. Nearby, the Tulum Pueblo and modern resorts have turned the area into a blend of ancient mystery and modern relaxation. Yet even with its popularity, Tulum still holds a certain spiritual energy. When you walk its paths at dawn, it's easy to feel the presence of the past, the rhythm of the waves, the whisper of the wind through the stones. Tulum is not just a ruin, it is a living memory of a people who built, believed, and connected across centuries. And that was the story of Tulum, the last great city of the Maya, a fortress of faith, trade, and mystery by the sea. From the brilliance of its builders to the beauty of its cliffs, from ancient rituals to modern rediscovery, Tulum stands as a bridge between past and present. Thank you for watching this episode of Little English Studio. If you enjoyed exploring Tulum and want to learn more about world wonders, history, and culture, told in clear and simple English, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you in the next video.